If you had any doubts about the housing crisis in Key West, you could simply compare the shrinking number of ads year after year in local papers. This was 2008. Key West with its artsy bohemian style. This is Will Soto performing at Mallory Square. What is interesting today is not just that Will can juggle while dancing on a tightrope, not that they write songs about him, or that he is one of the main fixtures in the $18 million a year advertising campaign used to promote Key West to the world. No, what's interesting is that he can no longer afford to live here. In his own words,
bleak. There weren't any places, and the ones that were triply overpriced. So we started looking up the Keys, and we didn't really see anything that was very impressive between here and Marathon. So we went to Marathon for a couple days and looked there, and it still wasn't. It still was. I guess you'd just say the nicest way to say it is overpriced. You know.
Have a lot of your friends left? I mean, over the past couple of years, have you noticed people that you know that have been here a long time?
That are leaving?
Yeah.
Sad to say, yes.
Yeah.
Most of our friends, I would say most, I would say a good portion of our friends in the service industry have either left or are considering it, or talking about it.
we caught up with Will busy boxing 40 years of Key West life. He and his wife Amy were leaving the next day to resettle in Clearwater. Something must be wrong when the very people who make Key West so special can no longer afford to stay here. A report recently released by the city's planning department highlights the problem. Key West has a deficit of 6,500 affordable housing units. So what happened? Many turned into second homes, but a lot were lost here. Here at City Hall. Here developers and city commissioners hammer out deals called development agreements. In exchange for softening local regulations, the city is promised specific public benefits, such as public parks and, above all, the construction of affordable housing. What we learned is that more often than not, the promises are not fulfilled or enforced. Here, the developer of a trailer park was expected to implement a detailed plan of relocation for park residents.
I'm taking care of the people no matter what, whatever the ordinance says. So, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
But when we asked for a list of relocated tenants with their new addresses, we were told it didn't exist. And there are many more examples. In the development agreement for Truman Annex, the city gave a bonus of 112 precious building rights to Ocean Properties. In exchange, Ocean Properties was to provide at least 183 affordable housing units, and also 900 linear feet of public beach. This is last Sunday at the public beach at the end of Simonson Street. Quite different from the public beach at Sunset Key that day. In order to lay your towel on that public beach, it'll cost you $40 per person, no family discount. Ocean Properties was also to provide 20,000 square feet of artist studio space, a footbridge to reach the public dock, and 7.3 acres of public green space. Neither the artist studios, the footbridge, the 7.3 acres of park, the 183 affordable units, or the public beach can be found today. Most disturbing, the city declared Ocean Properties in full compliance with the development agreement. The declaration was signed by the city manager.
So a couple of years ago, I thought you guys put out some type of ordinance that was going to help put some teeth into these, ensuring that the developers did what they promised.
Right, and we did. It's commonly known as the Gillern Ordinance because Jimmy Gillern was very instrumental in bringing that forward from the planning board's perspective, because they would put conditions on these agreements, and while the conditions were down in writing, nobody ever followed up on them. So this says that every year that somebody has the right to go onto those properties to make sure that the conditions are being met. and I cannot remember what the repercussions are if they are not, but they are in violation of that agreement. So this is the first time really that we have had anything formal that says, yes, we're going to check on these things that you say you're going to do in order to get this development agreement passed.
Terry Johnston is one of the commissioners who has picked up the fight for affordable housing.
But I don't know the outcome.
Somehow you guys maybe can figure out how to keep people like me and others in this community. Thank you.
This is an original song inspired by Will Soto, Jester in the Court of the Setting Sun, written and performed by Key West's Liz O'Connor.
I stood in the square with a kiss from the sea, in the breeze through my hair, helplessly spellbound by that golden light. I tasted my tears, but my heart felt so light. Now I carry it with me everywhere. My first night in Mallory Square. In the fading light, you were calling to the crowd, and you were charming and smiling, outrageous and loud. You captured my heart before you even had begun, a jester in the court of the setting sun. And I could feel there was magic in the air. My first night in Mallory Square. And you walked the wire for me, you juggled fire for me, you made me laugh, and you made me catch my breath. You moved with style and grace, you wore a look upon your face that held me captive from the very start. Everything you gave came straight from your heart. You said it has been 20 years that you've been in this square, but then just a handful of people were gathering there. Did that golden sunset fill you with fire when you took that first step upon the wire? And did you feel that you were meant to be right there? Your first night in Mallory Square. And you walked the wire for me, you juggled the fire for me, you made me laugh, and you made me catch my breath. Moving with style and grace, you wore a look upon your face that held me captive from the very start. Everything you gave came straight from your heart. In the setting sun, I stood in the square. Thank you. Had good inspiration there.